Well, hello everyone, and welcome to today's edition of Beyond the Ordinary Show. Today, y'all, we're going to be talking about the 1111 Gateway, awakening the ascended DNA. And this is going to be an 1111 activation and portal and conversation, if you will, like none you've probably experienced before. So I'm really excited about that. Our guest today, Jules Arnes, she has been leveling up, pulling up the frequencies, holding the vibration, and what's coming through her is just like next level. And she kind of came out publicly, officially on the last BTO show, but there's so much more that's developed since then. So it's going to be an amazing call, and she's going to be demonstrating what it is to activate this within you so that you can expand and open really into what is available in your consciousness and your expansion right now. So y'all hold on, get ready for an amazing call. Excuse me. I had a frog in my throat. I needed to clear it. Um, but with that, y'all, it's Jules, I'm going to let you introduce yourself and let everybody know how it is that your work has been evolving and what it is that you're currently offering because I hesitate to put you in a box because you're moving so quickly out of them.
Yeah, thank you for that. I feel that way. I think that's kind of the times that we're in is that we are in a mass ascension process and that every day we're going to show up as somebody different. And that's definitely true for me. I like to wake up every morning and let the frequency of my DNA inform every aspect of my life. So, yes, the last time I was on, I shared a little bit about my story. I think I'll just kind of trace back just a little bit
Mm.
to really what my passion is activating what I call the ascending DNA. And it's done through 12 codes. And I was given the quantum mechanics of cell ascension. So it's actual, if you break it down, there is a quantum science behind all of it that is evolving the body. And within those quantum mechanics, there's an intelligence that we can tap into, and that intelligence is within each and every one of us. And so, over the last 5 years, I have been really attuning to the mechanics of cell ascension and have fully brought that through. I've activated all the codes within myself. And once that happened, I mean, they've been in my life my whole life, so I shouldn't say it was that's when it all happened because what I call the blue men have been with me since age 5. That's when I was actually given the first equations or the technology of cell ascension, and have been using it most of my life. And in July, which isn't that long ago,
Right.
um, the blue men came to me and revealed that they are the divine architects of the ascending DNA, and that they are an intelligence. It's connected to source. It can be transmitted, and you could even say transmitted and transcribed to where
Mm.
we can actually communicate with the really what we're all becoming. And it's the evolution of mankind is that we are going to be moving into the light body will be the next stage, and that's only the beginning. And that stage of the light body has a very specific state of consciousness, and it has a specific vibrational frequency that we all can start tapping into right now. Not only is it in an aspect of time, if you will, that we can tap into it in a way that has never actually happened in the history of mankind. And we can talk a little bit more about that.
Definitely want to talk about that. And th- these blue beings have actually come through with a collective name. Is that correct?
Yes, yes, they have. Thank you for bringing that up. Yes, so when they, and that was another thing that was kind of hard is I always want to call them the blue men, and because that's always who they were to me. But yeah, so when they came and said that they were going to step in and actually take over the channeling through me, through the technology that I
Mm.
had activated within myself, they named themselves as an equation, and we can. put that equation somewhere if people are interested in seeing it. And then they translated it as Astra'luma because, of course, we can't really name an equation as something that we can say. So they
Mhm.
gave themselves the name Astra'luma.
And they've been coming in strongly for community, for you personally, for your business, and you have felt everything really like expanding exponentially as you've opened up to, I'll say, to receive and to interpret what's coming through you in a more direct way with the people that you're interacting with.
I would say direct, precise. I'm gonna be super honest. I didn't know what to expect, and it was a little uncomfortable at first. And I'm not gonna say there's not times where it is very still just unknown because every day it gets stronger, it gets even more precise, more dialed in, and it's definitely doing something for me on a biological level. My body is shifting. It's my nervous system is ascending and everything is becoming more electric. Like if I were to put a word to it. And
Hmm.
within that electric, there's more energy and recovery is a lot faster. I mean, we could go on and on about all the things that we're gonna all start to experience as the body starts to ascend.
I know they're bringing in an architecture and awareness of an architecture that, for our conversation and for what we're heading into, is these 1111 gateway. Talk to us about the 1111 gateway, how Astraluma is illuminating, the name's appropriate, illuminating really a quantum opportunity. Um, for all of us and how it is that we can consciously work with those energies to really facilitate the grace that's available and the huge shifts that we can make really easily if we're attuned with what's coming through.
Yes, so this year in particular, because we're in the year of the nine, and
Mm,
they are really pushing the importance of that because in the, I guess you could say, in linear time and when it's all collapsed, the nine in particular has a frequency where we can kind of almost erase the past and step into the future and then hold it all in the now in order to collapse all particles and put them into a higher frequency. Because if you think about the nine, a lot of people see it as the ending, but it's also the
mm,
frequency that is reflects all other numbers. And so what that means is that it is the divine number. It is the ability to break through illusion. And because of that, in this 1111 gateway, there's the opportunity instead of going from the nine, and if you know numerology, you would kind of cycle back and go back to the one because the 10 doesn't actually exist. So
mhm,
you would just cycle back to the one. And what they're kind of bringing in is the awareness that where humankind is right now, that there's enough people that have awakened that we can shift from the nine to the 11. And that's
mm,
why this 1111 gateway is so powerful because in that on that day, and we can talk a little bit more about some of the coding that's going to be happening on a physical level, but that's actually coming through what some people are calling the three-eye atlas. There is a very specific coding system that is happening within that atlas on that day. It's already
mm,
starting to happen right now. This 1111 is an opening of the DNA where those that are ready can receive and activate codes that will shift the way that we hold consciousness. They're saying this will be the biggest shift in mankind for those that walk through it with
mm,
awareness and with focus and with intention, because it has to be a choice. Not everybody will want to have this happen, but if it's something that you do feel called to as a way shower or one that is here to experience ascension, this is a huge opportunity to really create great change in your life and the life of others.
mm. Jules, I want to ask you a little favor. We may need to turn up the volume on your side. I think we're getting some comments that it's difficult, that some people are having a hard time hearing.
I'll go a
Um,
little bit closer. Is that better?
that is better.
Okay, great.
So I just got a message. Let's roll with that. So with this consciousness and this opportunity, what is it that how is it that we can be intentional with it? So For example, if I'm aware of it and my best friend across the street isn't aware of it, does it have the ability to impact in the same way? Does it have to be a conscious decision to navigate it, or how does it work?
Well, of course, the more conscious we are, the more powerful something's going to be. It doesn't mean that if you're unconscious that something isn't happening. It will happen on some level for everyone, but in the moments of consciousness is where we create choice, and choice is what's actually creating our next now moment, if you will. And so, if we're moving through it consciously, choosing to have the experience, and maybe that experience is simply feeling the shift in the
Mm,
body with awareness, or being open and curious to what is happening, and then within that, opening consciousness up to perspective through curiosity. And through curiosity is when we connect into an intelligence beyond our programming.
mm,
And so when we're searching for it, maybe through trying to make something happen, kind of more of that, oh gosh, we all kind of get stuck in that sometimes, where we expect a certain thing to happen and we're looking for that exact thing to happen.
yeah.
We stay more open and just allow the coding system to actually happen, and we stay more in that space of allowing, is when the magic really happens. Because just on this day, you have to see it as the beginning of what's going to come,
Mm,
because there's some really big monumental moments that are going to be coming just in the next weeks after the 11/11 up till like the 3rd or so of January, that we can have the take advantage of. And the 11/11 is like the spark of that,
mm.
because it's actually happening on a biological level.
This is really fascinating also because it goes deeper into some of the work that you've already grounded for us on multiple shows before. And if you haven't listened before, you're not going to miss out on anything. I promise it's all going to land right here in different ways. But this really articulates beautifully because it takes us into how frequency transforms into form. And
Mhm.
so, again, even the conscious intention and holding it, but loosening the grip, it really allows for the purity of the frequency that we are, or that we are authentically capable with aligning with, to allow that perspective to form the next waveform, the next solidity of what's possible. And it's so science-based, but the opportunity and how it's presenting itself, it's extraordinary, and it's wonderful to have you here to translate that for us so that we can navigate this and be aware of those, I'll call them those trigger points that are acting as the portals for really expanding that field of potential.
I love how you say that. And yes, so on the 11/11, particles of reality will shift into a frequency of what we would call a wave state.
Mm,
And in that state, like, because consciousness isn't going to be able to see the wave state, it's just important to know that it's happening. Part
mm,
of the message is that the particles of the body, of the DNA in particular, are going to be ascending so quickly that it'll be activating light that is actually can't be measured in the dimension that we're in. It moves so quickly that it's not even measurable. And that frequency is going to turn on, and it's going to hit the particles of our body, and it's going to hit the particles of reality, shifting them into a, you could call it a high spin state, a high frequency, a wave state. So it will no longer be form. So
mm,
what we do in those moments will inform how we experience reality once the frequency transmission has completed. So in those moments, we want to be intentional of creating heaven on earth, the new earth, higher consciousness, peace, love, however you want it, whatever feels right for you.
mm,
In those few moments is have the awareness that something is happening, that there is a coding system that's happening. We are actually altering reality as we know it, and we get to actively participate in the shift of that.
mm. So I want to make this really simplistic right now, and then I want to go back into some more nitty-gritty details because the way that you explained is just it makes sense to me, and it actually helps me to align with a coding that is true within me. But to take it to simplicity, um, so what does this mean? It's okay, Jules, I come to you and I want to be healthier in my body and it's somehow elusive to me, or my relationships aren't working out in a particular way, or I keep going into trauma triggers and I don't know why my nervous system is reacting. How can you, and what you're sharing now, facilitate a shift of awareness and experience for me as I relate to what you're teaching us as far as what the waveforms are doing, how our DNA is changing, how these portals are activating potentials within us.
Yeah, I think the first step is that we become aware of what we want to shift. Because in
Mm,
awareness, we create choice and it moves us out of that first level of consciousness, which is just being unconscious. So,
mm,
becoming aware of something that we want to shift is a lot bigger than we give it credit for, right?
yeah.
Because we, in that moment, really create particles actually start to move into a waveform when we become aware of a pattern with intention.
Mm,
And when that happens, when we have the intention to shift something or change something, the particles automatically begin to move. So in your body, if it's something you want to heal, it begins to move. If it's a behavior, it begins to move because everything is energy. And the more it's repeated, so if it's a thought pattern or a belief system we're wanting to change, and we become aware of that, the particles of those neural pathways automatically start to shift and change. So the more that we become aware of that, and then we use consciousness to shift it. And that's why it's so important to know how to use consciousness, because when you're trying to make a change from the exact same place that you were in when you had the awareness, it's probably not going to change. We have to activate a frequency that is outside of our awareness, outside of our programming, outside of the matrix, if you will. And
mhm.
that's where we go to our DNA.
But
We
how's Astra'luma assisting you in bridging that consciousness for other people as well?
I mean, it's all like what I love about the way they work, and we can definitely bring them in and do some channeling, is
Hmm.
that they go in and activate those very specific frequencies, and you can feel it. You can have a visceral experience of the shift of the particles in the body, the shift of the nervous system, the way the body is holding frequency, and the way consciousness is experiencing it. And then afterwards, it's just like you really do feel the shift of reality, and something just really magical is happening. I have to be admit, I don't really know exactly how it's happening, but it's happening
Yeah.
that the evidence is there and people are feeling it. They're having life-changing things happen, but it's in all of us, right? We are working on a DNA level.
Right. I don't know how the wind blows in a particular direction, but it's happening. And I'm
Exactly.
experiencing and it's there and how do I know it's real? Because my direct experience is pointing to a shift whenever I have a relationship with that aspect. And so the proof over and over that shifts in consciousness and behaviors and opportunities are occurring is really what the motivation is. And it's something beyond hope or faith. It just actually is imperative truth as we keep experiencing it. So it's really wonderful. One thing that you're bringing through, and again, I want to get into the 1111 activation, and it's a global activation and a portal. Um, and with these activations, I want to talk a little bit more about the activation portal, but also about the 12 quantum equations that are going along with this and why you're guided to do it in a particular location.
Yes, so I was actually in New Mexico in September, and while we were there, I was teaching a retreat, and we had a lot of crafts coming in, a lot of you could say spaceships
Mhm.
were coming in, and I was like, okay, this is really interesting. Something really big is happening, and I knew that there was going to be a calling to go back. I just didn't realize what was happening, of course, until we tapped in and got the message. And so Astra'luma was working the whole time that we were there on opening a specific gateway. That's what all the crafts that were coming in were actually releasing those codes that we were seeing. And so on 1111, they're going to use that portal. They are going to bring in 12 frequency crafts, and there's going to be people there that are going to actually aboard the craft, but they are going to be transmitting 12 equations that are going to be transmitted to everybody on the live call that day. Uh, it's going to be, I don't even know how to put words to it because I can't really say I fully understand it, but I can feel it in my body. I can say just the preparation for it has been intense, a lot of upgrades in the body so that the frequency can be held and transmitted for those that want to participate.
As the frequency is transmitted, what shifts are becoming available? I get that there's physical
Mhm.
shifts, that there's more energy, perhaps more clarity. What else are you noticing or aware that perhaps is going to be activated as more of that DNA gets activated?
I mean, really, it's going to be healing is going to speed up the ability to manifest that
Hmm.
intuition. You know, what we call intuition is really our superpower, but it's not even, it's just who we are on a quantum level. Because when we start to activate the DNA, we stop using our senses that we experience in the third dimension. So we start to see beyond our eyes. We start to see
Hmm.
actually through the nervous system. The nervous system, when it is ascended, is holding a very specific frequency pattern that is transmitting information. And then we're picking up that information claircognizance, and so it's not even going through our physical brain the way that we experience thought now. It's instantaneous. Even the way that we hear, we're not going to hear physically with our ears. We're
Hmm.
going to hear through information. And a big part of that is the upgrading of the nervous system. So that's going to be a huge focus with these codes, is that the codes are going to actually run through the nervous system and shift it to a multidimensional level so that we move out of the primal response to
Hmm.
reality and move into a multidimensional experience of the body. That changes everything. It changes the
Wow.
way we feel, it changes the way we see, it changes the way we need energy from food, how much sleep that we need, how fast we recover from injuries. I mean, we could go on and on. We won't even recognize ourselves
Mm.
once we're fully activated.
Wow. And what's your awareness about the light grid within us that's being activated also? Is that part of the DNA or is that a byproduct of the DNA activating in different ways?
Depending on how you look at it, but yes, so when the activation of the DNA happens, the light codes, if you will, are activating. And what it does is it runs through the atoms of our body, and it
Mm.
activates a gamma wave in the center of our atoms, the nucleus of the atoms, and that releases that light I was talking about that's going faster than what can be measured, and that light is hitting the electrons of the body. So the electrons actually shift from just being random to having a purpose. And the purpose is holding the body in a frequency where we can interact with the intelligence consciously. And in that all, the nervous system is kind of upgrading and moving into the multidimensional experience through the light and the electrons. And then, of course, the nervous system that we experience on a physical level.
I love what you're bringing through. And again, the clarity that gets activated when we're functioning on all cylinders, if you will. It's
Yeah.
that capacity of empowerment. Again, we're turning on our light power. If you talk about empowerment, right?
Hmm.
We're turning on that luminosity, which is absolutely incredible. Y'all, we're probably going to get into a little bit of channeling from Astra'luma. We're going to invite questions in also. So if you have a particular question you want to ask, raise your hand or type it into the chat box. Jules, with Astraluma and the relationship, how it's becoming more public. I know that you've been connected to them for quite some time and they've been a part of your life. A lot of what you're sharing on these calls seems very high level and structured, and it's a facilitation of awareness so that we can shift our consciousness into greater possibilities of what exists. We just haven't been aware that we can interact with this energy in those ways. And when we do, it activates something within us. It's a reciprocal circuitry that it's a give and a take, and the more that we receive, the more that it activates both sides, the
Mhm,
side of spirit and the side that we're receiving here. Having
mhm.
said that, though, can we talk to Astra'luma and can they share? Is it better for me to stay in Hawaii or move to LA? It's like, what about this relationship and what do I do about this money issue that I'm having? And do I be worried? What opportunity exists? And should I sleep another 2 hours because I'm really tired, or should I really wake up? I mean, what kind of facilitation is available at the different levels?
Oh my gosh, I love everything you just said. It just when I hear questions like that, you have to sit back and laugh a little bit of how complicated we make everything.
Exactly.
But and they're very aware of that. They can be actually very comical at times, but one thing they won't do is necessarily tell you what to do. But
Mhm.
what they will do is activate a frequency and deliver a little bit of guidance in because there's the last thing that Astra'luma does is take away your power.
Mm,
They're about activating a frequency so that you are empowered. And when somebody else dictates what to do with your life, it can be a little disempowering. Having said that, you can ask a question, and if it does not alter the way that you experience free will, they will give you extremely precise
mm,
information on what will create the highest result possible. So it really depends on what the question is and how that frequency is going to affect your life and your evolution.
Love that. Should we get into Q&A or should we get to a little bit of messaging from Astra'luma first? I'm curious what your guidance is.
Oh my gosh, I feel like it could go anyway because it's all going to be amazing.
All right, let's go to Q&A. So I'm going to start promoting some of y'all to panelists. Y'all, we're going to go into the special offer, and what's in the special offer is like so impressive. And you're actually going to have an opportunity to have something specifically activated for you. I won't share that quite just yet. You can read if you want to cheat, not that you're cheating, but if you want to advance into what that might be, the link for the special offers in the chat box, and the special offer button is underneath the video where you're watching the call from, either live or on the replay. But we're going to go into special offer in a little bit. But let's start taking some questions from the audience.
All right.
And let's
Or
start with
this is channeling or just questions, just so I can prepare with who's answering.
how about we let's I say both, but how about we go into Astraluma so they can start experiencing a little bit of them.
Okay, perfect. So I'll let you call on someone and just I'll go right in right now.
Do you need time to prepare? You just go in.
No, I'm
I
ready.
love that. Channel after my own heart. Barbara, let's start with you. Welcome to the call.
Oh, wow. This is like new and interesting. I'm glad I popped in.
Mm,
Um, and I always ask a general question, but today I'm asking for me. Um, I've had a lot of what I call upgrades lately, and
Mm,
all kinds of opportunities are coming to me now. But it all seems to be happening so fast. And so I'm kind of holding back. I don't just jump into things. And I guess so my question is, should I be jumping in or should I be holding back or what's the scoop on that?
yes. Time will be speeding up, and the experience of that can feel a little unnerving. Having said that, where you choose to take action should always come from the space of inspiration. The yes on a physical level, not an emotional level. So if your body is saying yes, take action because time will continue to speed up. And it's important to recognize that as time is speeding up, it is also shifting your experience of reality. So the more in flow and in alignment you are with the frequency of the shift, meaning the shift that we are in on an evolutional level, the more flow that you will have. The longer you wait, just be aware of why you are waiting. What are you waiting for?
Good question. I think, what I always wait for is the signs to proceed or not. But I think there's always that little bit of fear of jumping in when I don't really know and trust what's going on, like with the other people, I guess, that are giving me these opportunities.
Yes, of course. What the suggestion would be is to hold each opportunity and feel what it feels like in your body. Not through the mind, but through the body. Ask, is this opportunity for me? See if your body expands or contracts. If it expands, it's a yes. You can follow if you feel inspired to do so. You don't have to make it more complicated than it is, because in the end, there are no wrong choices. All choices will be an illusion because the choice that you will make has already been made. Do you understand?
No, not not on the like the choice has already been made. What do you mean by that?
Meaning that where consciousness is being held at the moment, you see that you have multiple choices. You, as a human, will look at that choices and go through all the different aspects to come up with the deciding choice. You could just hold the choices, knowing that when the time to choose is here, you will make the right choice. So the entertainment of what choice is needed to be made is just the entertainment of consciousness hitting the frequency where the choice will be made. Just rest assured, you cannot make a wrong choice.
Mhm.
Do you understand now?
Yes, yes. I just want to ask about the whole 1111 thing and these activations. I am just getting used to my body giving me messages. And so will all of these new activations and energies coming in help me with that? Like attune my body more to respond and give me those answers?
Yes, that's one of the big shifts of these
Okay.
upcoming portals is the upgrade of the way that the body is transmitting frequency and how that frequency is interlocked within consciousness. There will be a smaller gap between the frequency and consciousness itself. The experience of this will be more clarity,
Righty.
more trust,
Mhm. Thank you.
Mm.
knowing
Be-
will deepen.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Astra'luma, respectfully, can I ask you to lean into the microphone a little bit more for the next caller? Um, and with that, Barbara, I would recommend to you that you do exactly what you did on the call today. Ask for more clarity. If there's a not knowing, if there's a hesitation, if there's anywhere where you have doubts, any opportunity that is truly aligned for you can stand any question or scrutiny that you may have for it. And so to ask clarifying questions so that you can feel more the intimacy in your heart rather than being in your head trying to figure out somebody else is it's going to set you free. And it's going to provide a tremendous amount of clarity into what might light up even more. Have you the right amount of information and the right amount of frequency that is being emanated so that you can then choose to create it into form, which is what we talked about earlier, from frequency to form. Jules, you had
Awesome.
something to say about that?
No, I was just, does the volume sound better now?
It does, yes.
I just realized Astra'luma actually just showed me what was going on. My daughter was in my Zoom trying to get it ready for a live performance musically, and so she turned off the microphone and put it on a different setting. So is
Oh,
it better
perfect.
now, everybody? Do you feel
Can y'all hear
better?
better?
No,
I
it's
hear a
the
little bit
same.
better. People are like, so, no, so. So,
Okay, well, I did make a shift, so and I'll make it a little, I'll bring it a little bit closer to me again, and
that'll be great.
this will
Thank
be
you for that.
better.
All right,
Okay,
let's
so now
continue
people
to
are
our
saying
next.
it's better. Okay,
Let's
all
go to our
right.
next caller. Let's go to Karen. Hi, Karen.
Hi.
Hey.
Hi, Jules. Hi, John. Hi, Astra'luma. You talked about the shift and how things just manifest. I've seen that frequently over this past month in my own life, for myself as well as the people around me. But it seems to go in waves. It's like there'll be days where everything just falls into place, and then other days where you just kind of shift back. And when it occurs, I am aware that it's happening. So how can we more consistently stay in that flow?
You are always in flow. It is how consciousness is perceiving when the flow isn't the experience of what you feel flow should be. In the moments where it doesn't seem to be in flow is when particles are rearranging for your next experience of flow. It is just as important as experiencing the flow state. So instead of seeing it as an interruption or that you are not in flow, enjoy the stillness, because the more that you hold consciousness in a space where you are just in neutrality, the quicker the particles will align with your consciousness so that you can move back to the experience of flow. So in those moments, neutrality is your practice.
Thank you.
Of course.
How's that land for you, Karen?
Well, it does very well.
Right?
Mhm. Because there are times where I feel that it's like, okay, I just need to be quiet. I just need to listen.
Mm,
So thank you
beautiful.
for that clarification.
And the trusting that space, the trusting of self, the knowing in that is so powerful because we're taught to doubt.
Oh, always, yeah.
We're afraid we're going to miss something. Survival instinct kicks in, and we're afraid we've missed something. And so, again, the direct transmission of that is so empowering, and great facilitation. So, thank you for bringing it on.
Thank you.
Um, and let's continue. Let's go now to Neil. Neil, welcome to the call.
Thank you so much, John. Greetings, Astra'luma. Thank you so much for your support so far. I've loved your sessions. I've already signed up for the package.
Amazing.
I am considering, I'm thinking about becoming an Ascension architect with guidance from you. Any advice for me and others who are
Mm,
considering the same?
Yes, we need more to step into the role of ascension of the DNA. If this is a calling within your heart, continue to follow that calling as the inspiration will begin to open the pathway. So instead of feeling like you have to have all of the steps, you only need the first step, because after the first step is actualized, you will receive the next. This is the evolution of the architect, is that the architect is creating the blueprint in each moment. So do not feel that you have to have it all figured out. Simply make the choice and then begin. Sometimes you will need to take a step without fully understanding what the step is.
Mhm.
Once you step, you will have the experience, and you may need to shift things just a little bit, but it's within that step that it can be actualized. Do you understand?
I get it. Thank you.
You will do
mm.
very well.
Neil, thank you.
Thank
Blessings
you.
to you.
Blessings to you too.
Um, okay, I have a sneaky question. I'm going to pry a little bit. And I'm trying to frame my question in a particular way that is very respectful, but also I think illuminating for all of us. Astra'luma, what's your experience of Jules over the last year and the expansion that's happened within her consciousness, and how is that translating in service to us and the way that she shares?
Yes. This is the question, is it not? Jules, over these past 9 years, when we fully stepped in and began to work on a DNA level, she has always had us guiding her. But it was 10 years ago, to be exact.
Mm.
that we begin to transmit frequencies through the DNA. Through this experience, she had the experience of receiving guidance. She felt the guidance was connected through her own intuition. Through this guidance, she activated all 12 strands. She listened, she committed, and she did it. The only one. We gave the 6 steps, the mechanics of cell ascension, to many. She is the only one that did all 6 steps. It was not until all 6 steps were fully activated that we could come in and transmit in the purity that we are able to. It had to happen through the DNA. So we needed the DNA to be activated, and we could not do it for her. She had to use consciousness and actively participate in the ascension of the DNA itself. Now that she has done that, we can come through and we can speak in a space of purity so that the transmissions of what we deliver can support the activation of others.
Thank you for the awareness of how it has shown up in the evolution of Jules, and the word that you use that's very important for me as you describe Jules' journey is her commitment. It's her commitment, like her choosing to really show up. And I like saying being devoted to it. There's an energy of being present and evolving with what's being presented without getting into the distraction, which is part of the matrix programming, which wants to keep us away from the empowerment that's within. So it's profound what's being offered, and thank you for sharing that, so that we can become more aware of what the possibility is awakening within us. I want to get into the special offer in just a second, guy. And then we're going to get into more Q&A and into more transmission from Astra'luma. But right now, I'm guided to call on Joyce, and I'm going to get to as many people on the call, so y'all hang out with me. And Joyce, welcome. What's your question for Astra'luma?
Thank you. It's more personal than general, in that I've had a really wonderful opportunity to join next week with a teacher I've been working with and very directed by, for 2 days down in South Carolina. And I just keep having everything sort of set in front that's stopping me from being able to go. And so I don't feel like I want to give up until I know I need to. But I don't know if there's a way to clear the path, or if I just have to accept and, relinquish that this isn't the time to do that.
We can support you here.
Thank you.
And shut your eyes and bring your awareness to your heart. Now we will activate the frequency on a DNA level with the intention to open the pathway. So placing your intention that you would like to go, and feeling in your body as the frequency of your DNA activates the shift. We'll transmit the frequency. We're beginning the transmission now. Koskan baransh kodo kombante to kotosh kompeti kiti kanto sarancha kapanta. Kida kotosh kodo banti shikati kompo. bringing particles into wave states. Sunturin Chakapante, bringing body into vibrational state, matching new reality, the shift. Opening pathway. Connecting consciousness to reality of flow. Manakanana kasoto tororanti tikodo to shunokobante tikodo tokodon do right tikodoron doche tikanta. Aligning all particles to new vibrational state. Creating grid system. Collapsing particles into grid system. Transmission is complete.
Joyce, come back and listen to this with open heart and mind and rest in it. Y'all, I want to invite y'all to go into the special offer. Click on the special offer button underneath the video where the call's on. The link's in the chat box. You can always access special offers on beyondtheordinaryshow.com/marketplace. You'll see Jules' picture on there. Click on the special offer button there. As you're opening that Astra'luma, I have a question for you in regards to doorways and opportunities. At what point in the consciousness of our individual and collective evolution can we see doors that are not necessarily opening as opportunities and redirections rather than we're blocked or we're doing something wrong or something's trying to distort us? Because there is a difference, a significant difference between the two. And sometimes a no is just a yes in another direction that's really more in alignment with our path.
This is true within the linear time space that you are in. But we also have the opportunity to shift particles because when consciousness is connected to a higher intelligence, it is simply a shift of timeline and reality. So yes, if you try to go through a closed door within the same state of consciousness to where the door is shut, you are correct. But if the frequency of a higher timeline is there to be mastered, and the frequency is released, particles are shifted, and consciousness matches the shift, you experience a higher timeline. In this case, the closed door is no longer relevant.
Mm-hmm. And we don't have to suffer the opportunity being missed because we're aware of the redirection of energy based on our consciousness.
Yes, this is participating in the ascended DNA as a master of manifestation through the frequency of an intelligence beyond the matrix system that you are experiencing as reality.
Would it be safe to assume that we become more master alchemists in the process?
This is the evolution that each and every one of you will begin to step into.
Y'all, this is exciting. Again, to be aware of these shifts and to align and to breathe and expand rather than contract and contain. The freedom and creative opportunity is tremendous. And we're stepping into these gateways and these portals. So, and that's why I'm excited to bring you this special offer from Jules um, and this collective energy as well. So as we're on this page, and maybe Jules can come back and share with us what she created in the special offer, what's happening in Santa Fe, your special encoding opportunity that is available as well. And Jules, the channel is amazing. Thank you, thank you, thank you. But tell us about the special offer and what's available here.
Yes. Okay. So thanks for asking. So package A is the access to the portal activation on 11/11. It will be at 5 o'clock Eastern time. For 1 hour, we will transmit live from the portal itself. So we will by bringing in the frequencies that come through the frequency craft. I'll be doing Astra'luma, of course, we'll be doing a transmission, and then we'll also have time for a Q&A and just to come together in what is possible within the transmission itself. So the frequency, kind of what the message that they've been giving is, it will be life changing. We're in a moment in time that there will be a before and after. And oh, it gives me chills just saying it,
Mm.
but it is really exciting. I definitely feel it in my body already. So that's package H is that. And then it also comes with a course on how to create in the fifth dimension, because a big part of this activation is what do we do after, and how do we hold consciousness and actually experience what it is to create in the fifth dimension. So there is a course that goes through exactly how to do that, that comes with package A. And then package B is all of that. And also, I am will do a download through Astra'luma, a specific quantum equation for altering the particles of consciousness in the body and reality that is specific to you. And with that also comes an Ormus elixir that is holding the photonic frequency pattern or light frequency pattern of pi, which is an eternal frequency that they will be transmitting on the 1111. So I actually am bringing the Ormus to and it will sit in the portal during the frequency crafts, bringing in the equations. I will transmit the frequency into the Ormus, and then you will get that Ormus with your personal equation. And
Mm.
then I will also do a follow up call of a live interaction with Astra'luma to integrate the shift, the frequencies, have your questions answered, specific transmissions that maybe you need for support, all of those good things. Those calls are always really powerful.
Wow. Well, so you get the two calls. With package B, you get the physical product also, the Ormus, specifically calibrated for you. What happens if someone can't show up live to the transmission, Jules, on that particular on 1111 with you?
So the portal will have the recording, so you can just catch it on the recording, which is just as powerful, because as much as we connect to the this linear time space, and I think we're all starting to have this experience of time kind of folding in on itself. So
Hmm.
the intention of being within that frequency is enough to have all of the same frequencies be activated within the body.
I think it's a collective energetic alignment that amplifies the field,
Mhm.
regardless of time. It's just we're focusing our attention on that waveform and it's creating substance that we're able to navigate. Um, Y'all, this is powerful. This is so amazing. I love that you talk about how you're you're like priming the pineal master strand. You're entraining heart-brain coherence. You're stabilizing the mitochondrial light cycle. And did you know just recently that they discovered that the mitochondria has copper strands that
Mm.
act as a conductor in the mitochondria? Absolutely amazing. They just recently, I think that was a Harvard study. It's one of the big ones, but I think it was Harvard. We're talking about recoding looping emotions to memory, from survival loops to divine intelligence. You're opening that excitonal crystalline line, so your internal grid, planetary grid.
Mm.
We talk about how the Earth has that. And if the Earth has that, of course we do as well, because we are mirrors for the Earth as the Earth is mirrors for us. And then you're locking in the 963 hertz carrier wave. What's 963, Jules? Remind us.
Yeah, so 963 is the frequency of source that can be measured in our DNA. And that is the frequency that is releasing and is actively participating in the ascension of the body. I also
Mm.
just want to talk a little bit about, you brought up the mitochondria. This is a huge passion of mine.
Mm.
So the 12-strand DNA system of what we're working on activating right now, once it's activated, we actually shift to a different operating system within the body, and it is in the mitochondria. The mitochondria has a DNA that is a sphere. And once we activate the 12 strands, and it starts to kind of actively run our body on a multidimensional level, we shift into another experience of the body altogether, and the DNA system is the mitochondria.
Amazing. Y'all, this is I love the way that you put it together. It's just like it just stacks our inner technology in such a way that we're more in relationship with its unfolding instead of just kind of being victim to whatever might happen to come in and hoping that we can benefit from it. This is more of direct empowerment through direct relationship with what is actually activating in the world around us, in the cosmos, uh, through energetic alignments, through our own grid work, and being active, participating in the unfolding. And taking ownership of what's unfolding in us. Again, stepping out like Jules is like, okay, Astra'luma's coming through. She can't contain it anymore. And thank goodness, because your love is your art that is here to be expressed so that we can all benefit and grow from it. So it's so wonderful. Something that you share on here also, just the sales page alone, we'll call it the special offer page, is just so full of information. It's like its own little mini course. But here you also share, Jules, how we're just 1 degree away from manifesting our dreams. Give us a
Yeah.
little more detail about that.
Yeah, so we make it so complicated, right? When we're manifesting, we think oh, I want to manifest this, and then we hold our consciousness in the outcome or the attachment to what that's going to look like. And so with this,
Mm.
what that means is that the 1 degree is what is the next frequency that you're stepping into. I'm just kind of thinking about the answer for Neil. That was very much what they were talking about, is that the 1 degree is what choice are you making in each moment? And maybe the choice is that there is no choice. And can I sit in that stillness? And that it's in that 1 degree that the next degree is locking in. And the more pure we can hold our consciousness without attaching it to outcome or laying our programming in how it should be, the more the particles actually shift. And I know I keep going in a quantum level, but this is what it's like when you get quantum equations
Yeah.
running through your body all the time, is everything becomes quantum. But you have the experience of that. You stop identifying in what is seen and what is physically experienced, and you start to actually put consciousness in the identity of frequency. And when we do that, things speed up, and they go a lot faster. If you think about what it's like to try to change something from form to form, it's a lot harder to do. But when you're
Mm.
just moving into frequency, and all you have to do is put your consciousness there, and then all of a sudden the waves start moving, and you're like, oh, well, I'll just put it over here. Those 1 degrees that are in between this and this are different. So that's what
Right.
this class is about, is that the 1 degree is always there. It's just a simple choice of where we're putting our consciousness.
Amazing. And what's your experience with the Ormus and the field photonic elixir
Oh,
for this awakening? Why do you include this in here and give it so much relevance?
yeah. So Ormus, if you guys haven't heard what Ormus is, some of you may have heard it as monoatomic gold. I was
Mm.
actually given the alchemy of it back in 2015, and have been alchemizing it, I guess you could say, ever since. And since Astra'luma has started channeling, I had to take a picture, a video of the last batch that I just made for this specific to bring to the portal. It is taken on another level. So when you alchemize Ormus, you're basically, I won't tell you exactly how it is because that would be giving it all away. But when you're making it at first, it looks like clear water, right? And then you alchemize it. And when that happens, the Ormus hits light and just appears. And
Mm,
so all of a sudden, what was just a thing of water becomes all these little clouds of sparkling light. And I actually had to take a video of it last time. Maybe I'll send it and you can
mm,
post it. But it was so magical. I went and got my neighbor because I was like, okay, this is next level. You have to come over and see what is happening to this Ormus. So my point to that is Astra'luma is definitely coming in and coding it at a level that hasn't happened in the past. So it's pretty exciting.
wow, wow. Yeah, the Ormus is part of the package. It's a physical product that you'll get that is specifically charged for you, I'll call it. Um, Package A without the Ormus is $97. You'll get, I'll call it the course with all the different weeks on how to use quantum technology of DMT, activating divine molecular technology, living with the 1 degree of shifting reality and creating the new Earth reality, and the live transmission from Santa Fe, whether you watch it live or listen to the recording. It's the 1111 portal activation, I'll call it. That by itself is $97. If you want to add the physical Ormus charged specifically for you, and the additional 60-minute live Astra'luma integration call to embody the quantum codes. That's in package B. It's only another $50. It's $147 for both packages. And on both, there's 2 payment options that you can take advantage of. That makes it more accessible for you as well. So amazing, amazing what's being shared on here. The protocols are available, the activations, the physical product, the live calls to get into the energy of Santa Fe. And Jules, or maybe Astra'luma wants to answer this. Why in particular Santa Fe?
You know, that's a great question. Thank you for asking this. So I have been driving to my mom's for, gosh, for the last 10 years. She lives in Arizona and I'm in Colorado. So I
Mm,
always drive through right through that stretch of highway.
mhm,
Every single time I have some of the biggest downloads of my life. And the last one was so big is actually when they showed me what was happening on a mitochondrial level. It was
mm,
so big and they did, and the activation was so big. I actually had to pull over and let the energy run through. And when I was sitting there with my head out the window, I was thinking, I need to do a retreat here. The
mm,
energies here are so strong. So I went straight home and I found this location. And because we did that retreat and the frequency crafts were already coming in, of course, we had no idea what was happening when we just thought it was cool that we were seeing the crafts, but it was actually intentional that it was all set up for, we have the experience of consciousness after we kind of hit
mm.
the frequency, but the frequency was already aligned before we had the experience.
That's why, as you're speaking about it, I feel like I'm already in it with you. I feel like it's like it's already happening. It's like we're saying it's happening 11:11, but
Yeah.
it's, and again, it's that quantum time. It's like I feel like I'm already 5 days into the future,
Yeah.
which is crazy, but it makes sense also because again, we're creating that wave together,
Mhm.
and it's coming into form. So, y'all, this is exciting. I'm excited for those of y'all who are going to participate. Thank you for doing this work, Jules and Astra'luma, and being so generous in the way that you're offering it with activating the Ormus to facilitate what else is possible. So cool. Um, let's go into some more Q&A. Maybe we can end the call with a transmission from Astra'luma. So Marty, I'm guided to go to you. Welcome to the call.
Thank you, John. Thank you so much for setting this up. And Jules,
Mm,
so feel like I'm so overflowing with gratitude to be here.
mm.
Thank you. Um, take a breath, excuse me.
Yeah.
So I have a kind of a two-part question. So I've just in the last 24, 48 hours been super inspired to go take a course in activating my Kundalini
Mm,
with Athena in truth. A course that she does. And then here I am on this call, and there's no doubt I'm pulled to do this. And I'm curious on a couple levels, how the two may relate to each other. I'm not doing the Kundalini course until January 13th, so this will come first. And and the second layer of the question is that with the Kundalini awakening, the reason I kind of pushed it off to January is that supposedly it's good for me to let go of some issues, childhood traumas. It's already been happening for many years, but there's kind of an acceleration going on there. And I wondered if there's some kind of, if you can explain any kind of integration between what was going to happen to us on 11/11 and how that might integrate with everything else I just told you I'm got on my plate.
Yes, of course. As the nervous system begins to ascend, what we see as clearing or purging or shifting beyond trauma is simply the ascension process through the nervous system. On the 11/11, there will be the opportunity to ascend. What this will look like is that it does not mean that the trauma will not be there. It just will not be in the state of consciousness that you experience it now. It will feel as though it happened to somebody else because it will be so removed. So if your intention is to ascend and prepare the body to be able to have a Kundalini experience, you can have that attention, and that will be the process of the ascension through the 11/11. That does not mean that that will be the only thing that you will experience. This is the opportunity we would like to offer. A Kundalini rising is the experience of connecting in to the frequency that is stored on a DNA level. You can begin to work with that energy now. As the body ascends, the way that we experience chakra systems, separation, will dissolve into one frequency pattern. You will begin to experience the body on a multidimensional level. And through this multidimensionality, the separation will dissolve. And you will experience things like Kundalini in a different way.
Mm.
All will be ascended. So the invitation is to allow the ascension to happen on a nervous system level, allow the DNA to activate, let it inform consciousness, have the experience of what that is, and then stay open and curious. As you move into the experiences of the Kundalini rising, allow the intelligence that is activated on the 11/11 to show you what it is to be connected to the experience of a Kundalini rising through the multidimensional body. Do you understand? It will be different. Having a Kundalini rising experience through multidimensional body will be different than having a Kundalini rising experience through the third dimensional body. Two different things.
I can't say that I understand, but I can say that I heard you.
Well, can you clear, can you maybe explain it in a different way for us to receive? But my understanding of what happens and what people perceive as Kundalini awakenings as well is that sometimes we have nervous system resets and energy moving and maybe trauma clearing that happens. That's not the same as a Kundalini awakening necessarily. And so even in the 3D Kundalini awakening that some people call Kundalini awakening, it's not the 50 activation that we're really looking for. So that there could be some clarity around that. But Astra'luma, if you can maybe explain it to me like I'm in sixth grade, that would be wonderful.
We will do our best.
Thank you.
The experience of ascension of the body will be raising the body to a frequency where you will not experience the physical, including the way the body registers trauma. If trauma is experienced of the body, it is creating a chemical response in the body, and then the mind has the experience of the trauma.
Mhm.
As the body ascends, it will shift into a frequency pattern where, on a multidimensional level, the body no longer responds through chemical, it responds through frequency. For this reason, the trauma will ascend through the nervous system. It will feel as though it is shifting. You may feel it emotionally, but as it ascends through the multidimensional nervous system, it will move into a frequency within the body where the chemical of the trauma will no longer be experienced. For this reason, it will feel as though it happened to somebody else. You are aware of the story, you are aware that it happened, but the body does not register it on a primal level. As this happens, and moving into the experience, now that you have had the experience of what it is to ascend trauma through a multidimensional experience, you begin to experience life multidimensionally, meaning you no longer react on a chemical level. The body is held in a higher frequency. Information is received differently. You receive information through a higher intelligence. You are no longer scanning your environment for information. You are no longer running through the primal body to see if you are safe. As the body ascends and you have the experience consciously, you will experience what it is to have a Kundalini experience differently, because everything is different, good and bad. Do you understand now?
I certainly do. That's a lot clearer for me. What a great explanation.
I do want to just say that I said trauma, but I'm also talking about belief systems, and would that apply just as well?
All will change. Your experience of what it is to be human will be elevated. You will move into a space where you are no longer identifying in programmed reality, programmed body, the primal body, and you will begin to experience what it is to be a multidimensional being. For this reason, things will be more clean, clear, precise, less interruption, distraction. You will be in the experience of what it is to live as frequency multidimensionally.
Thank
Mm.
you.
All right, Marty, blessings to you. Thank you so much. And have an amazing time in January. And hopefully you can drop in this particular activation as well. Great questions coming in the chat, and I'm going to get to them in a second, I promise, because there's an activation I think that's there for the whole group that I want to make sure that we all benefit from, including me, by the way. But first, I'm guided to go to Hannah. Hannah, welcome to today's call.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me okay?
We can, yes, welcome. What's your question for Astra'luma?
Since the beginning of September, it's like I'm a new person, and so much has changed in my life since that time. And this is such an exciting time, and I'm seeing a lot of synchronicities. But I feel that I'm still experiencing a lot of physical, actually, since September started, a lot of physical sensations in my body, including tension. And then it's kind of like one sensation or one symptom as it is, I go from one to the next. So I have tension in my body, and then my stomach starts to hurt. So the tension goes away and my stomach is hurting, and then my stomach stops hurting. So now the tension comes back. And so what I want to know is, I've been doing muscle testing to communicate better with my body and so we can have a partnership and grow together as best friends. But what is it that I can do, or what is my body communicating to me with those symptoms? How can I support my body better? And how can I stand in my power as a healthy, high vibrational being of light moving forward in this time?
As we are scanning your body, And the symptoms that you experience are simple upgrades. The more that you pay attention to the symptoms and name them, judge them, the stronger that they become. For an example, my stomach hurts. I don't feel good. I wonder why I don't feel good. Why does my stomach hurt? You put consciousness in the experience of the upgrade. Because of that, you create a timeline of the experience of your stomach hurting. What the invitation is, now that you know that is simply the body is upgrading, is that when the stomach hurts, allow your consciousness to have the experience of the frequency beyond the stomach hurting. Invite to be seen or to see the frequency of the evolution, the upgrade itself. This could simply be that you may feel the frequency behind the stomach ache. It may be that you start to feel the electricity within the upgrade itself. Do you feel it even as we are speaking? Because we are connecting your consciousness to the experience of the upgrade. The upgrade
Yes.
is behind the symptoms. When you bring your focus to the upgrade, the quicker the upgrade will move through. We are supporting you now with that, with the upgrade. This will be part of your mastery that you are asking for, is a shift in the way that you experience your body, just as you was asked. It is showing you what is possible. You are inviting the upgrade, and so it is upgrading. Now you simply have to have the experience.
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you for bringing that in. Astra'luma, what facilitation can you provide for those who are perhaps impatient in what's unfolding? We can feel what's coming through, but it creates a sense of impatience that creates doubt, that then creates fear, and then we're searching outside of that creation portal that presented itself, but we start to wobble because we start getting into the old way of thinking and being and relating into survival instinct.
Yes. Isn't that the problem?
Yes.
The awareness of when the shift begins to happen. The more awareness that there is, the sooner that you create an interruption of moving into what we would call a program, the easier it is to move out of it. What you have to recognize is that in each moment, there is a choice, and choice is changing the future, the past, and your now moment all at once. Your experience of time is the illusion itself. The more interruption within an observation of a program, the longer time is experienced. So with the choice, simply, I prefer to feel at peace. I prefer to experience what it feels like to be at peace. Allow that frequency to begin to alter the particles of the mind, the particles of reality. Then placing consciousness and curiosity, allowing higher perspective. There is no magic pill. It is a practice where consciousness will become an attuning tool. So the more awareness and the more willingness to allow consciousness to stay in a space of allowing and curiosity, the faster time manifestation in the experience of the fifth dimension will happen. It's not as hard as you think. It simply is a practice of allowing, opening consciousness to curiosity, and allowing an intelligence that is stored inside of you to inform your mind, body, and reality.
I really appreciate that. And for me, it also takes me into a place, y'all. It's really feel it into our heart because, yes, how wonderful that it's all handed to us, that there is one thing that is going to show up to save us from the experiences that we are not comfortable necessarily wanting to navigate. But that's just not the truth of it. There is a devotion and a commitment on our side in the relationship to the evolution of consciousness outside of us, which is also inside of us. And it's part of the gift of this journey that we get to have, and to bypass the road to get to the destination would be shortchanging this physical incarnation and the beauty that is providing as we get to witness what is unfolding, not only in the universe and the world, but with each other. With each other, and how wonderful, what a gift it is to have that. Um, there's a question that came in from Christina, and I think it's a beautiful way to bring in the collective message for the group today. And of course, we want Jules back before we end the call, because I have a feeling she's got a few things to share as well. But Christina Astra'luma is asking if you have any advice or special message for all of us on this call today that would be helpful as we move forward.
Yes. Over these next 5 days, the invitation is to connect to the Ilias codes that are moving through the sun. We'll begin to transmit that frequency now. The Ilias codes are holding the light waves that will activate the DNA, the frequency that cannot be measured. Light working with the gamma waves. Just allowing your consciousness to move into the experience, as we are just holding the field for that experience. The purpose of this activation is the awareness of the evolution of mankind, where most humans are holding the frequency of evolution. Technology within the body can be measured at about 0.7. After the activation, you will move into a 1. This is a huge frequency shift. The awareness that this shift is happening, and the more that you keep your awareness in the experience of the shift, the more the shift will move into an experience of reality. This is why awareness, co-creation within the experience of these codes is so important, as you can use an observed state of consciousness to create the higher experience of the body. This is how consciousness actively participates until consciousness is mastered and you become the intelligence itself. So the message is: hold awareness, sensitivities, openness, curiosity, allowing the codes to activate, and then have the experience of the evolution.
Are y'all receiving that? I wanted to be still for a minute. That's just that penetrates and lands in our hearts and beings. So beautiful. Astra'luma, thank you so much for the clarity that you're shining through, and for simplifying in some aspects so that it can land further within us. Y'all, the replay for the call will be available for the rest of the week. We'll yeah, just come back and receive the transmissions. The special offer, the 2 packages, 147 to get your activated Ormus, your charge Ormus specifically for you. The 1111 portal activation, the gateways, what's being received there in the transmissions in package A. Y'all know where to find the special offer now. I cannot recommend it enough. I hope you all participate. Someone was asking, Jules, as I see you coming back, thank you, by the way, if this program or if this energy might help someone who's suffering from PTSD as well. If they had a brain injury and have PTSD experiences.
Yeah, that's a great question. And, of course, we can't diagnose or necessarily
Yeah.
treat, but I guess I can say that I have witnessed miracle after miracle with what is possible in this. And I feel like it's worth the try, right? Like, I mean, why not?
Mhm.
Because I feel like when we allow ourselves to step into an experience of a miracle, especially with the frequencies and the way they're aligning right now, let's all create a miracle in this time and choose your
Mhm.
miracle and let's go create it.
Right. Well, I had a powerful awakening moment the other night. It's a deep trance meditation. And it took me into the absolute truth of the awareness that I was having of the miracles that each and every one of you are.
Mm.
And as we receive that truth in our hearts, we open to witness and be in relationship with the frequency and the creation of more miracles. It's only our denying of the miracles and of each other that prevents us from being in awareness of the other miracles that are also available. And y'all are the perfect mirrors showing up here at this moment to illuminate and activate a greater potential of seeing even more. But how can I see more if I can't even receive you right in front of me?
Mm.
I'm asking for miracles, and here's God presenting it to me on a daily basis. But I'm saying, no, I need another proof of it. No, forget this one in front of me. Show me 10 other ones in different ways. And
Mhm.
Source is saying, but look just right in front of you right now and receive that in our heart. And when you're capable of receiving that, more shall be provided. More shall be provided. So it's amazing. And I love that you talk of the miracles and bringing it in. And yes, let's activate what else is possible. What
Mm.
else is possible? So beautiful. How do you feel after you're channeling Astra'luma? What happens for you?
It depends on how deep and how much they do transmissions. The more deep the transmissions are, I would say it's a little bit harder to come back out of it, if I'm super
Mm.
honest. I kind of float around and yeah, but I always feel good. It
Mm.
always feels the pure and I enjoy it.
Beautiful. And if there's any transmission or maybe awareness that you receive from today's call that you would love to translate to those listening right now, what might that be as we end today's call?
Oh yeah. So the last kind of share, was really interesting, because of course when they're speaking, they're also doing stuff, and it's not just the voice is the last part that matters. It's actually what's
Mm.
happening through the frequency of the voice. And so it's always important to feel what your body feels like and have the awareness that there's a shift that's happening no matter what the question is, that they're upgrading your technology so that consciousness can connect to what the answer is consciously, because it's one thing to hear an answer, it's a whole nother thing to know it on a physical level, biological level. And so in this last one, when they were talking about, so the Ilias codes are in the three eye axis. They're moving in and out of dimensions, and so what they were showing is that the it is multidimensional, and our
Mm.
experience of it will be multidimensional depending on where we're holding consciousness. But there's an opportunity where on 1111, it's already happening right now. I'm sure all of us are starting, I could feel the codes, like even when they were just like, oh, just pay attention. And I'm like, whoa, okay, my body's doing something.
Mm.
And but on that specific day, it will be like the sweet spot where all will the harmonics will all raise. So it's all happening inside of us, right? It's activating on a DNA level because our DNA is an advanced technology. We're just not aware of how advanced it are. I think it was a time when somebody asked, why can't we just experience our 12 strand DNA system totally turned on now? And the answer was because you would go crazy. You wouldn't be able to handle it.
Makes
You
sense.
wouldn't be able to handle what you actually are. And this is the first kind of opening to at least bringing us to the
Mm.
next level of experiencing that organic divine technology that's within us.
Ah, so beautiful. I love the way that you're sharing, Jules, and bringing this together and so that we can consolidate it within our system and receive what we're ready to receive and activate it without the need to rush it, without the need of it having to be more, because maybe part of us doesn't feel like enough. Right? You're exactly where you're supposed to be, and then that we're receiving exactly what is in our divine blueprints and according to alchemy to experience and activate and illuminate into the world and into the galaxy. So, so beautiful. Thank you so much for the transmission today, for this amazing call. Oh my God. And thank you for the generous special offer again, the activation in Santa Fe. Again, I feel like I'm in it already. It feels potent in a whole new way. Um, and for the generosity of the physical product of the Ormus and charging each one for the frequency of anybody who participates. So you will have your own specifically illuminated Ormus as you dive into that special offer with the physical product. The pricing on the special offer, by the way, someone asked, does not include the shipping. The shipping is estimated, but it's not that much more, y'all. It's nothing. It's half of a cup of coffee at Starbucks. So it's like, it's not, for me, it's not even a thought. Internationally, it's going to be a little bit more expensive, obviously, but it's, again, there's an estimation on there. And again, it's worth every penny for every drop of Ormus that you'll get and so much more. So again, I hope you all take advantage of that. And again, with that, Jules, thank you so much. It's been amazing having you. Always so fun, and activating every time you're on. Blessings too. Yeah, and blessings to everyone on the call. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for just being so freaking awesome every time. The energy that you all illuminate and what you help us create collectively on this platform is truly a living prayer for the highest potential of all of us. So thank you for the space that you hold, the light that you be. And I bow down to each and every one of you in namaste. Love you guys. I'll see you soon.